And then you can keep your eyes closed. On your next breath in, just make your way up to tabletop position. So taking some time to stack the shoulders over the wrists, spreading the fingers wide, hips over knees, and then just feel the body out. So notice how your hips feel after holding that shape. And then come back to right now. With the next breath in, drop the belly to the floor. Tilt your tailbone high and then guide your heart forward from in between the arms. Exhale, begin to round into your cat. So pushing the floor away to spread the shoulder blades. Tucking the pelvis under, hooking the navel in and out. Take another breath in, drop the belly. Tilt the tailbone high, energetically pull the hands towards the knees, open up through collarbones, and then exhale, round. See if you can push the earth further away as you tuck your chin to your chest. Lifting the spine from in between the shoulder blades. We'll do that a few more rounds. Move at your own pace. And then with your breath as well. Maybe you keep your eyes closed so you can really tune in. And then listen to your body, any organic movement that feels right. So if you'd like to roll around your head and neck, maybe take some barrel rolls around the rib cage. Just make sure that you're honoring the duration of your breath for your cow. Matching the duration of your inhale with your exhale into your cat. Progressively moving deeper through the spine. And we'll take one more round. So really savor your last inhale in your cow. Find your deepest expression so far in your cat as you exhale. And then make your way to a neutral spine on your next breath in. So you can keep a soft gaze. Otherwise, I encourage you to keep your eyes closed for as long as you can during this class. Next breath in, reach your right arm straight up to the air. So as you gaze up, find any movement that feels natural. Maybe stillness, rolling out through the wrist, spreading the fingers apart, and then tune into your left palm. Make sure you're pushing the floor away so there's still space in the wrist joint. On your next breath out, begin to sweep the right arm underneath the left. So you're threading your arm through, softening the right ear towards the mat. And then you can rotate the left fingertips to face you. You can extend the arm towards the top of your mat, or maybe even find a half bind and wrap the arm all the way behind the back into the right hip crease. And take a breath in, start to press the back of the hand into the floor, allow the chest to peel open towards the sky. And then maybe on your breath out, reach the fingertips further towards your left. So feel this space you're creating between the shoulder blades for another breath in. And then on your breath out, go ahead and release the left hand back to the floor underneath the elbow. Press through that left palm. Inhale, reach the right arm back up. Find any other movement you'd like. And then release the hand back to the floor. We'll swap sides. Next breath in, sweep the left arm high. So again, any movement that feels natural through the wrist, through the hand, fingertips, and then pushing the floor weight through that right arm, breathe in. On your breath out, begin to thread the left arm underneath the right. Soften that left ear to the floor. And then any shape that's comfortable for your right arm, so you can keep the hand pressing to the floor, fingertips facing you, extend that arm long, or maybe even begin to find that half bind, wrapping the arm behind the back into the hip crease. Helps you facilitate in your twist as you rotate the chest upwards. And then maybe slide the hand further out to your side. Take another big inhale, inflate. And then exhale as you deflate, release the right hand back to the ground, press through the palm. Inhale the left arm up for your counter twist. And then exhale, release it to the floor. Tuck the toes under, take a breath in here, energize. Exhale, push back to your downward facing dog. So lifting the hips high into that inverted V shape. And then any movement that feels natural through the legs, so bending them right, left. Just pedaling out through the feet, maybe dropping the hips side to side. And then we'll start to go through our checklist. So again, fingers are spread apart. Think about pressing down through your finger pads, your knuckles, and then the heels of the palms. So notice it's a little bit less tension through the wrist, so we want to maintain that engagement throughout the hands. So pushing the floor away, lengthening through the arms, and then hugging the triceps in. So always aiming to pull everything in towards our midline. Take another inhale, lift the tailbone higher, and then on your exhale, see if you can sink the heels a bit lower. So really finding that length, the entire backside body, and softening your gaze towards your toes, towards your knees. And take a breath in, go ahead and bend your knees. And then on your breath out, slowly start to walk to the top of your mat for ragdoll. So stepping the feet as far apart as you'd like to release the low back, bending the knees as much as you need, and then just allowing the torso to hang heavy. So being still, or maybe finding some movement, swaying side to side with the breeze of your breath, scooping up opposite elbows along the way, and just completely letting go. So make sure that you're relaxing through the head and neck entirely. Maybe nod yes or shake no, just to release that tension, that engagement. And soften the tongue, soften the jaw, and just notice how the upper body starts to sink closer and closer towards the floor. We'll take one more breath in here. And then on your breath out, release your arms heavy. Next breath in, maintain a micro bend in the knees as you round up to standing. So taking your time as you rise up, feel the joints stack. And then once your chin comes parallel to the floor, you can roll the shoulders down and back a few times. And feel free to keep your feet where they're at if that's comfortable. Otherwise, you can toe heel your big toes to touch. Next breath in, we'll sweep our arms up overhead. Hopefully have some space, take advantage of it, reach high. And then on your exhale, press your palms through heart center, plugging the thumbs into the chest. Close your eyes for Samastitihi. I'm going to take this time to set your intention for your practice this evening. So whether that's just a mantra you'd like to repeat to yourself just to keep you grounded, to keep you present. Maybe it's a goal for your practice or a devotion to someone, something greater than you. And with that, we'll all breathe in our intention. So fill your body with the notion of your intention, every cell, and then open your mouth, exhale, just release and let it go. Just share that energy. Next breath in, feel free to blink your eyes open as you sweep your arms back up overhead. And then exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward. Pushing the tailbone back to lengthen through the spine and the hamstrings. Next, inhale, find a halfway lift. You can place your hands on your shins. Bring the torso parallel to the floor and then extend forward. Exhale, release down. Plant the palms and step the feet back. So we're going to progress through our Chaturanga Dandasana. We'll begin with the modification. Bend the knees and soften them to the floor. Inhale, seesaw the shoulders past the wrists. Push the floor away through the hands. Exhale, lower just halfway. Keep your arms close to your side. So you should feel your upper arms press against the sides of the body. Just a 90-degree bend through the elbows. Next breath in, pull the chest through for your back bend. So you can keep your hips soft, maybe a more generous bend in the elbows if you need. If you're ready, begin to lift up to your up dog. So just tops of the feet and palms pressed to the ground. Now engage, pull the navel to the spine, claw through the fingertips as you transition to down dog and lift the hips up and back. Breathe in, and breathe out. We'll start to move a bit more quickly with our breath. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, find a flat back, shoulders away from ears. Exhale, fold deeper. And then feel free to round up if you prefer. Inhale, rise up to standing. Sweep your arms overhead for upward salute. Maybe lift your gaze towards the palms and then exhale, hinge from the hips, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, find a flat back. Exhale, release the hands to the floor, step back to your high plank. So now if you want to modify, you can drop back to knees. If you're ready, inhale, seesaw your shoulders past your wrists, maintaining your high plank. Lower down halfway to your push-up position, and then pull the chest through to your back bend of choice. Dropping the hips downward, broadening through collarbones, and then engaging as you exhale and transition to down dog. We'll take a breath in, lift the tailbone high, Breath out, press the chest back to thighs. Next breath in, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hook the navel in and up. Exhale, fold. Progressively folding deeper each time we meet in this shape. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead if you're ready, upward salute. Exhale, hinge from the hips, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Extend forward, exhale, plant the palms, release downward. So now moving with your breath, it's one long breath out as you lower, halfways. And then a big breath in as you find your back bend. And then exhale, pull the navel in and up as you transition to down dog. So again, feel free to modify at any point. You can always forego and go from high plank to down dog. All right, last round. Breathe in, bend the knees up forward. Walk step, maybe hop if you're ready to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. We're gonna add a little bit extra this final round. You're gonna float the arms behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back. Reach the knuckles down towards your heels, puff up the chest, feel the shoulder blades pinch as you lift your gaze. And then lead with the heart, fold forward, maintaining that connection between the palms. And then allow your arms to drape overhead. You can bend the knees if you need, maybe widen your stance for added stability. Take a breath in here and stay for your breath out, see if you can go a little bit deeper. And then go ahead and release your hands to your low back and then to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. So stepping back, lowering halfways, pulling yourself through, and then really creating space between the shoulders and ears, and then transitioning to your down dog as you exhale. Let's take a breath in. Maybe open your mouth as you breathe out. Come back to your intention. 2 more breaths like that. Inhale through your nose. Fill up. Exhale out, maybe through the mouth. Sink the heels low. Really ground into the floor through palms, through feet. Take 1 more breath in. Feel that expansion through the sides of the ribs, and then another breath out. Maybe go a little bit deeper through the heels. Next breath in, go ahead and sweep the right leg high, 3-legged dog. So extending that leg behind you, firming up through quad and glute, and then internally rotating through the foot so all 5 toes point straight downward. Take 1 more breath in, squeeze, and then on your breath out, tiger curl, heel towards the glute, knee towards the nose, come forward to your plank, and then step the foot in between the hands with control. Manually adjust as you need. That way you have the right knee stacked over heel. Soften the left knee to the floor, toes tucked or not, your choice. Next breath in, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, tuck your pelvis under so you feel this stretch traveling from the left hip flexor all the way down to the quad, and then scissor the thighs together for support. Go ahead and hook the thumbs, take a breath in, re-extend the arms up, and then exhale if you'd like. You can encourage the hips to push forward as you bend back. Breathe in. And then on your breath out, release your hands to the floor to frame the right foot. We're gonna transition to half splits from here. Inhale, lengthen, elongate. Maintain that length as you exhale and shift back. So doing your best to straighten that right leg, and it's okay if you can't bring it totally straight. Feel free to maintain a micro bend. Focus on digging the right heel down and flexing the toes up so we can access a deeper part of the hamstrings. Hands can be forward or underneath the shoulders. Wrap the right hip back and then breathe in. Pull yourself forward like you feel a hook attached to your sternum, pulling you to the top of your mat. And then breathe out, hinge deeper. So softening the belly closer towards the thigh. So you can stay here if this is enough. If you'd like to access your IT band, if that's an area that's particularly tight for you, maybe you're a runner. Start to walk your hands to the right side of your mat, just outside of it, doing your best to keep your hips oriented forward. Take a breath in, really focus on exaggerating the expansion through the left side rib cage, keeping your left hip anchored, and then exhale, maybe twist a bit deeper, keeping that foot flex, roll to the outer edge of the foot. so that the right toes point towards the right side of your room. Take one more inhale. And then on your exhale, we're all gonna sweep our hands to the left side of our mat, getting ready for our gate pose. So you're gonna ground the right foot to the floor, push firmly through the outer blade, pivot on that left knee, and then stack the left hip directly above the knee. Back toes tucked for added support, breathe in. And then on your breath out, send your hips back towards the left heel. So your range of motion might be limited. You don't have to force yourself to go too far back. So listen to your body. We're tuning into where we feel resistance. So feel free to sink here. We'll be here for 3 breaths. Otherwise, you can find some movement if that feels more natural, moving back and forth, keeping that right foot planted to the ground, pushing firmly through the outer edge. And that way you can feel that stretch through the inner groin. Let's take one more breath. And then inhale yourself back up. From here, you're gonna bring the right hand to rest gently on top of that right leg and sweep the left arm straight up. Breathe in, push the hip forward, contract the left glute, and then exhale, start to side bend to your right. So bicep close to the ear. And then as if you have support from the wall behind you, make sure that both shoulders are pressing evenly back and squared. Take another inhale, open up to the left side. And then on your exhale, cartwheel your hands to the back of your mat. We're gonna pivot on that left knee onto the right toes. Next inhale, sweep that right leg back, 3-legged dog. And we're gonna hold here for 2 breaths before moving directly to the other side. So squeezing through the glute, pushing back through the heel, pressing the chest back. Take another inhale. On your exhale, tiger curl, heel to glute, knee to nose, shift forward to your high plank, and then step the foot between the hands. And soften the right knee down. Toes tucked or not, your choice. Scissor the thighs together, inhale, sweep the arms up. Shoulders over hips, tuck the pelvis under. Breathe in. Begin to hook the thumbs, and then as you breathe out, guide the hips forward, lift the chest up. Inhale here, grip through the left big toe, and then exhale, release your hands to the floor. Get ready for your transition to your half splits. Inhale, elongate, and then exhale, shift back. It's really wrapping the hip behind you, digging the heel to the floor, and flexing the toes. Micro bend as needed. And then maybe hands down beneath the shoulders, added support, maybe hands extended forward if that's comfortable. So breathe in, elongate. Breathe out and hinge, fold deeper. So just surrendering to the force of gravity. Staying here if you'd like, or if you took that variation on the other side, you can walk your hands to the left side of your mat. Keep your hips oriented forward, so right hip stays in place. Breathe in, expand through the right side body, and then on your breath out, if you'd like, you can rotate on that left heel so the toes point towards the left. Take another big inhale, and then on your exhale, we're all gonna walk our hands to the right side, pivoting on that right knee, stacking the hip over the knee, and then grounding through that left foot. Breathe in, stay here if this is enough, or if you'd like to go deeper, you can send the hips back, resting that right hip on the heel, finding that movement, whatever feels right. So continue to ground down through that left foot so it's glued to your mat. You're gripping through your toes and especially the pinky side edge of the foot. And listen to your body and where you feel the most resistance, breathe into it, but don't force the movement or the shape. We'll take one more breath. Next inhale, lift yourself back up, hook the hips, and then lift yourself upright as you sweep the left arm to the left leg and right arm straight up. Pelvis is tucked under, nice and neutral. Breathe in, lengthen upwards, and then on your breath out, start to side bend to your left, so we're opening up through the right. So be mindful again of the alignment of your right thigh bone. So rather than letting it creep back or pushing too far forward, keep it nice and neutral, really vertical to the ground. When you're ready, go ahead and sweep your hands back forward to the top of your mat and pivot on the right knee. Palms are planted, take a breath in, sweep your right leg back behind you, 3-legged dog. I'm gonna move straight to the other side. Draw the right knee towards the right elbow. Shoulders over wrists. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Step the right foot outside the hands for lizard lunge. So heel is on the mat, toes spin off to 2 o'clock. You can soften down to the left knee if you'd like. Full expression, you're gonna keep that leg lifted. If it's comfortable, perhaps drop down to forearms. We're gonna hold here for about 3 breaths. Take your time with these breaths so there's no rush. Stay here fully present with all the sensations that arise. These hip openers are so good, especially if you've been anything like me and sitting down a little bit too long. So just counteracting all that sitting with this deep hip opener, so stay present. We'll take one more inhale and exhale. And press back up to palms if you were lowered. We're gonna transition to Skandasana from here, so pivot on the heel. We'll make a deep yogic squat on the right leg. Left leg will be straight and strong. Digging the heel to the floor, flexing the toes straight up. Hands can be on the ground for added support, or maybe challenge yourself, bring your hands to heart center. Reminder of your intention. Breathe in. And then on your breath out, we're gonna snake our way to the back of our mat. So again, you can use the hands on the floor for support. Dig that right heel downward, flex the toes straight up. And maybe bring your hands to heart center, reconnect, inhale. Really grow tall and long through the spine, and then on your exhale, release your hands to the inside of the left foot. We're gonna make our way to lizard here. So toe heel, the left heel, to the edge of your mat, and the toes are gonna spin off to 10 o'clock. Again, you can remain lifted, maybe drop to that back knee or forearms, something in between. Just stay here for a few breaths and really feel that stretch to the outer left hip. So notice if you are redirecting tension elsewhere in the body here. Sometimes we don't like to feel it in the hips, so instead we'll send it towards our traps. So tensing up through shoulders or maybe through the face. So see if you can relax and be easy with your breath and with your body. One more inhale and exhale. Next breath in, press back up to palms. We're gonna transition back to Skandasana, so finding that deep squat on that left leg, right leg is straight. And then maybe challenge yourself, no hands, if you'd like to try back to the top of your mat. And then we're gonna go all the way back to the left. So really getting into the inner thighs, and then release the hands down to frame the left foot, pivot to the ball end of the right, and then sweep the left leg back, 3-legged dog. Take a big inhale, really extend the heel behind you, and then on your exhale, draw the left knee to right elbow, and then extend that leg for fallen triangle. Make sure that left shoulder stacked over the wrist. Inhale, open up. Maybe go beyond and stretch the hips up towards the sky. From here, you're gonna lower your hips to the floor. Come to a seat. And draw the sole of the left foot into the right inner thigh. Next inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. On your exhale, hinge from your hips, extend forward for your single leg forward fold. And if it's not accessible for you to easily grab onto your foot, you can bend your knee to shorten that distance, dig the heel to the mat, and then pull yourself through. So notice if you're hunching or rounding the spine, see if you can bring your head back in line. Breathe in, engage your biceps to pull yourself through, and then breathe out, hinge downward, keeping your elbows close to your body. We'll take one more breath here. If you're feeling pretty strong, pretty flexible, maybe lift that heel to hover for 3, 2, 1. Release the heel down, press down through your sit bones. Inhale, reach your arms back up. Place that right hand behind the hip, or rather left hand behind the hip, whoops. And then sweep that right arm up for your mini wild thing. So pressing the hips up, lifting the chest, the gaze towards the right fingertips. And then exhale, release back down. You're gonna bring your hands to the back of your mat, tuck the right toes under, step the left leg behind you for your high plank, and you can flow through your Chaturanga Dandasana if you'd like to take it, or just press back to down dog. So now meeting in down dog, Next breath in, sweep the right leg high. Exhale, draw the right knee towards the left elbow. Extend that leg, pushing through the outer blade of that right foot. Inhale, open up to your fallen triangle. Maybe go beyond, bringing the arm behind the ear. And then exhale, slowly lower to your seat. And draw the sole of the right foot into the left inner thigh. Breathe in, sweep the arms up overhead, rotate the torso towards the left, and then exhale, hinge from the hips and fold. So again, bending the knee as you need to wrap the hands around the foot. Pulling your chest through to elongate through the spine, really similar as we did in our half split. So feeling that hook in the sternum, and then hinging forward, going deep, maybe feeling that connection between the torso and the thigh and just breathing into it. We'll take 2 more breaths. So maybe challenging yourself on that last breath and lifting the heel. And release it back down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Now right arm plants behind the hips, mini wild thing. Sweep the left arm up, lift the hips, lift your gaze. And then exhale, release back to your sit bones, a little bit different. We'll make our way to butterfly here. So bring the soles of your feet together, knees nice and wide. You can interlace the fingers around the feet. Take a breath in, pull your chest through, lengthen, grow tall, and then exhale. Hinge from your hips, pull yourself forward and downward. You can maintain your clasp on the feet. You can extend your arms forward if that's more comfortable. And just let your upper body hang heavy. So it's okay if you round or hunch here. Just find a more passive stretch. So noticing the elbow, or rather the knees opening nice and wide, feeling gravity, press them downward. Relaxing through your toes, through your face. Feeling the tailbone bend down. Take a breath in, swell with air. Feel the shoulder blades flare apart. And sink even deeper to the shape as you breathe out. And start to walk your hands back in. Coming back upright. And here's your water break. Get some water if you need it. How are we feeling, guys? So far, so good. And then from here, you can go ahead and swing your legs back. Maybe sink your way back into child's pose. I'll give you guys some time just to recalibrate and reconnect with your intention before we continue with the rest of our flow. So whether you're seated upright or sunken into your child's pose, just notice how you're feeling. Notice any shifts that have occurred physically, energetically, mentally. Hopefully feeling more spacious in every aspect. Deeper rooted and connected to your intention with each passing breath. And again, let's all collectively meet together with a big inhale. So feeling the body swell with air. And then just let your exhale seep out the body, breathe it out. One more breath like that, big inhale. Pause at the top, maybe just a bit more air. And then open your mouth, exhale, just release, let it go. Let it linger. And then feel free to keep your eyes closed as you transition back to down dog. So every journey is going to be a little bit different. Feel free to add extra movement if you'd like. Just making your way back to your downward dog position, spreading the fingers wide, lifting the hips high, sinking the heels low. On your next inhale, sweep the right leg back up, three-legged dog, so familiar place. Continue to keep your gaze back, lengthen through the back of the neck, and then on your exhale, engage your core, knee to nose, heel to glute, tiger curl, and then step the foot in between the hands. Sink that left heel to the floor, getting ready for your warrior one. Wrap the hip back, stack the right knee over the ankle, inhale, arms up, biceps by the ears. Exhale, reorient through the hips. Make sure that you're distributing your weight evenly through both feet, and imagine pulling everything towards your midline once again, heels together. Begin to float your arms behind you, interlace your fingers. Take a breath in, puff up your chest, send your knuckles to the back of your mat, maintain engagement through your left leg. Exhale, lead with the heart, bow forward to your humble warrior. So bringing your right shoulder to the inside of the knee, bringing your gaze towards the left toes, squeezing through that left quad, so stay strong and stable between both feet, and then simultaneously stretching through the chest and shoulders. Take one more breath in here. Listen, we're gonna stay low. Just float the arms towards your sacrum, release the hands, and then bring them to the inside of that right foot. Maintain your warrior stance. Start to walk your hands to a diagonal. Sink the hips low and then sit back into them as you release your arms down. So you have your arms just like in down dog. Perfect. And then notice how you feel in your legs. So you can stay still. You can find a little movement, a little shimmy through the hips. And then see if you can apply more pressure through the palms if you feel like your front leg is getting fatigued. Take one more breath in. And then on your breath out, walk the hands to the center of the mat for a wide-legged forward fold. Pivot on that front heel. As you straighten that right leg, feel that rush of blood back down. So just savor that sensation. And then from here, you can stay passive. We're gonna be here for some time just to decompress through the low back and spine. So passive, hands under shoulders, more active, maybe scoop up your heels or clasp onto ankles. If an inversion is in your practice and you're comfortable with the headstand, you can feel free to take that. We'll also have another opportunity in our wide-legged forward fold if you're not ready quite yet. So whatever feels comfortable for you. Holding that shape as long as you'd like. We'll give it about 3 more breaths. Again, tuning into where your mind goes in the interim between breaths. Aiming to create more gap, more space between thoughts, just like with our breath. When you're ready, slowly release down with control, just as much intention that you came into your inversion is coming out of it. And we'll start to walk our hands to the back of our mats now to frame that left foot. Staying low for your pyramid pose. My favorite shape. I feel like I do this stretch in all my classes because I need the most. No, everybody needs it. So go ahead and hook that left hip behind you, sink the right heel downward, and then again, elongate through your torso, feel that hook pulling forward, and then on your exhale, just surrendering to gravity, hang heavy. So just noticing how so many of these cues go together. So every shape that you've done before this has prepared you for this moment now, for you to have your deepest experience in the posture. Yoga is so much more than just the asanas, the shapes that we make. So don't sell yourself short if that's all that you think it's about. Yoga is about our connection with our mind, our body, our breath, and our heart. And that happens when we tune into the experiences that we have and the shapes that we create. We'll take a final breath here. Find your deepest release in the hamstrings so far as you exhale. And then micro bend in the knee as you plant the palms. Inhale, sweep the left leg up and back, 3-legged dog. And then on your exhale, draw the knee back to the nose, step the foot between the hands. Sink the right heel to the floor. Inhale, reach the arms up for warrior 1. So orienting the hips forward, left hip back, right hip forward. And then notice if you're dumping weight in the low back and causing that curvature, we want to tuck the pelvis under to prevent that. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, float the arms behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale, expand through your chest as you send your arms back. Maybe lift your gaze. Legs strong as you hinge from your hips into your humble warrior. So bowing forward, pressing the left shoulder against the inside of the knee, avoiding the temptation of just resting your torso on top of the thigh. Gaze is back, legs are strong, pulling together. Breathe in. And then on your breath out, send your hands towards your sacrum, allow them to release and find the inside of the foot. Then walk them to the side at a diagonal for your down dog arms while your legs are simultaneously in your warrior stance. Pressing firmly through your heels, maybe shimming out the hips if a little movement feels natural, and then grounding through your palms. That way your legs aren't taking all of your weight. And take a breath in, and breath out. Really getting into the hips for one more inhale. And exhale. Begin to walk your hands back to the center. Once again, meeting in our wide-legged forward fold. So pivoting the feet so that the toes are spinning inward, heels outward, hinging from your hips, folding deeper. Maybe walking your hands behind you or creating a tripod. So hands on the floor, elbows are bent, arms at a 90-degree angle, maybe softening the top of the head towards the floor in preparation for another inversion if you'd like to take it. Again, you can omit, especially if this forward fold is feeling really delicious through your legs. So pushing through the outer edges of the feet, hanging heavy. We'll be here for about 2 more breaths. And these are slow breaths. Noticing where your mind goes in that gap between. Last breath. And start to release your hands back under shoulders. And walk the hands to the top of your mat to frame the right foot for pyramid pose. So adjusting your stance as you need, sinking the heels down, wrapping the hips back so that they're level. Breathing in, elongating through the spine, and then breathing out, hinging deeply. Maybe forehead touches the knee or just beneath it. And if you have a tendency to hyperextend, I encourage you to keep a micro bend in that knee. So we're staying here for a few breaths. And really it just takes such a micro movement to completely change the stretch. And again, your experience of this stretch and shape. So maybe just shimmying that right hip further behind you, lowering it. Maybe playing around with the placement of your hands, walking them further back, further forward. Let's take 2 to 3 more breaths here. Notice how your inhale feels in this shape. Your exhale allowing you to go deeper. Inhale's always creating space and expansion, lightness in the body. And then exhale's moving into that space. Begin to place a micro bend in right knee, plant the palms. Inhale, sweep the right leg up and back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, release the foot to the floor. Take a big breath in your down dog. On your breath out, we'll start to walk to the center of our mat. Hands will meet the feet there. Forward fold. Inhale, lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale to standing, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, release your arms to your sides for Tadasana. And we gotta do a little tree pose. So go ahead and find your footing on the mat. So noticing your foundation through your feet, so gripping down through your toes, pushing through your heels, and then lifting the inner arches. Feel that engagement travel up the legs. And we'll go ahead and begin with the left foot planted. Begin to draw the sole of the right foot up to the left inner thigh, if that's inaccessible. Bring it down to the calf, or just create a kickstand against the ankle. Avoid putting any pressure on your knee, and then equal intensity between pressing the sole of the foot into the inner thigh, and then the inner thigh back into the foot. Next breath in, sweep your arms up if you're comfortable to grow your branches. If this is too much, you can place your hands at heart center, maybe even rest the right ankle or right hand around the right ankle. All right, if your branches have been grown, take a breath in, sprout up even higher, and then challenge your balance on your breath out. Maybe start to side bend to your right. So as you do this, gripping through that left big toe, keeping that quad tight, and then encouraging the knee to point outward so you feel that opening through the hips. One more inhale. Exhale back to center and release the foot to the floor. Maybe shake out the legs, release your arms to your sides. All right, clean slate, fresh side. So find your foundation through that right foot, pushing down through the heel, gripping through the toes, and then inhale, draw the left foot in. So sole the foot into the right inner thigh, calf, or kickstand against the ankle, avoiding putting pressure on the knee, opening the knees wide so you feel that opening through the hips. And then if you're ready, feel free to grow your branches. Maybe try it out on this side if you didn't on the other side. If you're uncomfortable, hands at heart center or clasping onto that ankle. All right, if you have your branches grown and sprouted up, start to side bend to your left. So the wind is blowing. We're staying stable and sturdy. Our trunk is firm, rooted deeply into the earth. Take a breath in. On your breath out, come back to center. Release the left foot down. Release your arms to your sides. Shake it out. And then we'll go ahead and hinge from the hips, fold forward. Separate the feet about hip width distance. Bend the knees, and then we'll slide the hands underneath the feet for a gorilla pose. So this will be our deepest decompression through the low back. Nice active shape. You can really claw your toes into the backs of the wrists and then start to activate and engage. So actively pulling the palms up towards the face. As you do this, elbows naturally bow out to the side. So now you know why it's named gorilla pose. Actively pulling the tailbone upward, sliding the torso downward, maybe engaging your abdominal wall to slide even further down, feeling the top of the head inch towards the floor. Take one more breath in. And then on your breath out, release. Take a moment of pause just to feel all that space that you've created through the spine. And then from here, begin to toe heel your feet, mat width distance. Spin your toes out to 10 and 2 and sink low into your Malasana squat. So now you're going to be pressing the elbows against the insides of the knees, your hands back to heart center, maybe close your eyes to reconnect with the intention that you set in the beginning of your practice. Take a big breath in, start to feel the top of the head lift upwards. And then on your breath out, release your hands down and comfortably make your way to your knees and then all the way back to your child's pose. So maybe taking that variation with the legs together this time around, just to feel the release through the low back, arms down by your sides. Unless you'd prefer the other variation, knees wide, arms forward. We'll be here for 3 breaths as we begin to slow down our practice. So winding things down. That means slowing the rate of your breath. Slowing your heart rate. And let's take a big inhale and exhale. Once more, big breath in, inflating with air. Sipping a bit more air if you can at the top. And then deepest exhale, just let it go out, release. And then on your next breath in, reach your arms back forwards. Pull yourself all the way into your Sphinx, so sinking the hips down as your forearms run parallel to one another. Energetically pulling the elbows back towards the hips as you grip through the fingertips, lifting up through the chest, shoulders away from ears. Maybe find your way to seal, lifting up off of the elbows, pressing through palms. Exhale, release back down. Create a pillow for your head with your hands, so interlacing the fingers, dropping your gaze to your right, left cheek on the floor. So relaxing on your belly, making your way to your crocodile pose, sliding that right knee up towards the right elbow. And then just melting the body into the ground. And just allow it to sink deeper into the floor as you exhale. And feeling the thump of your heart beating deeply into the earth. And then again, see if you can slow the rate of that heartbeat by controlling your breath, lengthening your inhales And then exaggerating the length of your exhales. One more breath here. Begin to press into that right palm. Lift yourself up slightly and then slide the left arm underneath the right. So we're threading it through, just like we did in the beginning of our practice. And then from here, begin to open the chest up to the sky, twisting the body, stacking that right hip over the left. So it's okay if that knee lifts up slightly. Think about gluing the shoulder blades to the floor and then maybe dropping your gaze towards your right. And start to feel that right hip pull away from you, lengthen through the spine a bit more. Take one more big inhale, really offering the heart up. And then as you breathe out slowly, unwind. We'll bring that right hand back to the floor. And send the feet back to touch. Unthread that left arm, and then we'll switch our gaze to our left. Heavy on your belly, relax the shoulders down the back, disengage through the head and neck, and then start to slide the left knee up for crocodile. Hips are heavy, glutes are disengaged. And just feel the breath of your body on the floor. And again, notice if you tend to hold on to tension through your face, just relax. Relax your brow, soften behind your eyes, and soften with the jaw, separate the teeth, take a breath in, slow breath out. Feel free to keep your eyes closed as you press into that left palm to lift the arm. Begin to thread the right arm underneath and then start to roll onto that left hip, stacking them and then extending that left arm to your side. Maybe dropping your head to your left as well. And now feeling the breadth of your upper body facing the ceiling. Hips are stacked and heavy. Shoulder blades pressing into the earth. Take a big inhale. Maybe even feel your fingertips pull apart energetically. And then on your exhale, go a little bit deeper in your twist. And then from here, we're gonna make our way onto our back. So go ahead and just release the left foot to the floor and then shimmy your way back onto your mat comfortably. Arms down by your sides, relax the shoulder blades down the back, so maybe pull them in closer together. On your next inhale, draw the knees into the chest. You can pull them in tight or loosely, whatever's most comfortable and feels right. I encourage you to keep your eyes closed for the rest of class. From here, we'll find legs up the wall. So extend your legs skyward. Maybe support the hamstrings with the hands and then roll at the ankles if there's any movement that feels natural. And take a breath in. Feel free to stay here, maybe even use the wall for support, resting your legs atop. If you'd like to go deeper, plow poses in your practice, you can lift the hips up and send the feet back. Maybe support the low back with the hands. If you're a bit more advanced, more comfortable, more spacious in the shape, you can extend your arms forward, maybe wrap your peace fingers around your big toes. Whatever shape you're in, elongate the spine so you're lifting the tailbone up, creating space in between the vertebra. And then as you breathe out, go deeper. And it takes time for the body to ease into this shape. Relax through your head and neck, and we're gonna take 3 big gulps of air. So this is an excellent shape to make before bed. It really calms the entire nervous system. So just feel that calming sensation spread throughout the body. And then once you've took that final gulp of air, micro bend in the knees, begin to roll out with as much control and care as you came into it. hugging the knees back into the chest. And then exhale, step the feet mat with distance. Let the knees kiss inwards. If you have this space, you can extend your arms out to a T, maybe cactus the arms overhead. And take a breath in. And sigh your breath out. And if there's any other shapes that you'd like to make before we close off our practice, feel free to make them. I'm going to windshield wipe my knees side to side 2 or 3 times before extending my legs straight, but just listen to your body, so whatever feels right. Maybe another twist, another inversion or back bend. If you're ready, you can start to slide the heels forward. Take up as much space as you need as you make your way to your final Shavasana. And it's this final shape that every movement, every asana has brought us to and prepared us for, where you can let go of control of your breath, let go of any attachment to thoughts, and just be. And it's when we surrender to our Shavasana and we allow ourselves just to be, is when we are able to connect to our true essence. Not just the things that we do, the relationships we have, the roles we play, but our essence that is perfect. Perfect here and now at this very moment. Sinking deeper and deeper into the floor, releasing control and engagement of your physical body. Maybe keeping your eyes closed, but your gaze towards this space in between the eyebrows. Feeling calm and relaxed, still and centered. And feel free to remain here as long as you need. I'll leave you with the gift of Shavasana. It was such an honor and a privilege to guide you guys. I hope you feel a bit more calm, relaxed, grounded, or spacious and connected. From the bottom of my heart, as an extension of your own, namaste.